I have so much empathy for people who have worked incredibly hard to get to a particular moment in their careers, to have it all come undone in a single instant that's outside of their control. It is so demoralizing, debilitating, and disheartening. In today's video, I'm going to talk through how to navigate this type of situation so that you can come out the other side feeling more empowered and ready to handle whatever is next. I'm Laverne McKinnon, and I am a certified coach and a grief recovery specialist. I love to help people with career transitions. Now, that might mean you're moving up the ladder or down the ladder or off the ladder. Regardless of whatever it is, I'm going to provide you with a lot of tools and resources to help you get to whatever is next in your career. Now, today's video was inspired in part by a LinkedIn post that I read from Dr. Alexandra Long. Now, Dr. Long had recently received her doctorate from American University, and she received and accepted a job offer from a federal agency to be able to be a practicing clinical psychologist. How exciting and how amazing. And then came the presidential memorandum for the federal hiring freeze, and in an instant, Dr. Long's job was gone. Now, I don't know Dr. Long personally, but I have a lot of clients who have been in a similar situation where in an instant, everything that they've worked for is gone. And so I know from these clients that what happens typically is that there's a lot of negative self-talk that gets triggered. Things like, I'm too old to start over, my career is done, I'm a failure. And this type of negative self-talk is not going to help you move forward. And so I'm going to unpack and get really, really clear on how you can rewrite this narrative that's being created by a single event that is outside of your control. So at its core, rewriting means to change something to make it better. And so we can apply the same process and the same approach to rewriting your career narrative. So if you have thoughts going through your head again that I'm failing, I suck, this isn't working, it's time to rewrite the narrative. Now, if you're creating stories like this, don't feel like there's something wrong with you, because we are designed as human beings to create meaning. We are meaning-making machines, and it's part of how we survive. So I'm going to give you an example of this, sort of oversimplified. As a kid, you're playing in the kitchen, you're having a great time, and then you touch a hot stove. Ouch. Wow. So the meaning that's created here is stoves are dangerous. This is designed to protect ourselves so that we can be cautious and wary when we're approaching a stove so that we don't burn ourselves. Now, what doesn't happen with little kids is, oh, I'm stupid, I'm a failure, being a kid is over because I touched that hot stove. It's just an event. So we really want to slow down and look at the meaning that we're creating for an event, especially one that's outside of our control. A lot of the danger that comes with these stories is that we treat them like they are the truth, and they are not the truth. There's a very important distinction between a truth, a thought, a feeling, and a belief. And so we really want to be able to interrogate, is this thought that I have, is it the truth? The truth is that Dr. Long's job offer was rescinded. The event itself is neutral. However, how we interpret the event, that's the meaning that we create, and that is what we really need to take a look at in terms of, is this meaning that I'm creating helpful or hurtful? What I really, really love about the concept of rewriting your narrative is that it puts you into the driver's seat with a full level of consciousness that can honor your values and your purpose. And so that's really a goal here, is about getting you back into control. And one of the easiest ways that you can do it, the lowest hanging fruit here, is for you to rewrite your narrative in a way that's going to support you and encourage you and love you. It does not mean that the challenge or the event didn't happen, but it does mean that you can take control of how you see it and what your perception is of the event. Okay, 3 steps to rewrite your narrative. The first one is that you really need to acknowledge the feelings that have occurred from the event. So Dr. Long in her LinkedIn post gave a wonderful example of this. She allowed herself to feel all the feelings. She talked about her excitement about getting the job, how much she was looking forward to the stability that it was going to bring her family, and then the extreme disappointment of when the order came through. So what does this look like for you? It really means getting super, super brave, really courageous, so that you can sit with the discomfort of the feelings. Now, it's normal that we want to be able to avoid these feelings, so we may watch a lot of television, we might start gaming, we might, do things, overeat. These are coping mechanisms, but in order for you to be able to rewrite your narrative, you need to get clear on what are the things that I'm feeling and be with them. I know it seems counterintuitive, but actually being with our feelings, it helps dissipate them so they lose their intensity. So ways that you can do this would be journaling, talking to someone who is a real confidant, who's not going to try to talk you out of your feelings. In fact, you can even set the stage to say, I'm going to share some things with you, and I would just love it if you could listen and not respond, because you don't want to be talked out of your feelings. That's actually not going to help you with rewriting the narrative. You could take a walk and just really, again, just be with it and identify it and notice and name what you are feeling. So that's step one. Step two is about looking outward. So we're going to go from moving inward to moving outward. And this is about seeking connection and community. So why we do this is so that we can invite people to be empathetic, to be compassionate, and it also creates opportunities for future jobs as well. So you don't have to go as far as Dr. Long did by writing a LinkedIn post, although that is absolutely awesome and totally acceptable. But you can also, again, reach out to a friend, you can join a group. So you're really looking for community, because when some of these things happen, it can create a sense of isolation. And when you're in isolation, it invites negative self-talk. Here's the thing with step two, is that by looking outward, you're going to get emotional validation and practical momentum. Okay, step three, which is rewriting the narrative. So you're clear on your feelings, you've got emotional validation, potentially some practical momentum through sharing your feelings and creating a support system. And now it's time to rewrite the narrative by looking at what are those thoughts that are coming up in your head related to the event that happened. Remember, the event is neutral. However, the thoughts that you have about the event are going to inform the feelings that you feel about what happened. So we want you to interrogate those thoughts. Look for the data that will support, I'm a failure, I will never work again, my career is over. And so if you've got the data, then we can take a whole other course. But I'm going to say 99 times out of 100, there is no data to support those negative thoughts. And now, as we're starting to look at how can I possibly rewrite that thought? How do I go from I'm a failure to what's next? Think about someone that you care very, very deeply about. And if they came to you and shared these thoughts with you, what would you say to them? And you can use those phrases to help you rewrite your narrative. What we're really going for here is a more compassionate way to look at the experience and to be kind to yourself. So, for example, instead of saying, I'm a failure, you might be able to say something like, I've learned new ways to become resilient as a result of what happened to me. I suck can turn into, I have more to learn and I'm capable of learning. My career is over can turn into, I get to choose when and where and how I'm going to stop moving forward with my career. You can turn, I wasted my time into, wow, that experience didn't turn out the way that I wanted to, but now I have clarity about what is truly important to me. My career is over can be, I get to redefine what success means to me on my own terms. This is the end turns into, there's always another chapter. Rewriting your story is not a one and done process, unfortunately. And oftentimes there are triggers that bring that negative self-talk back even after you've rewritten the story. And so one of the tools that I share with my clients is to take one of those negative pieces of self-talk, write it down, go through the steps of acknowledging the feelings, looking for connection, and then rewriting and converting that statement into something that's helpful. And then write that statement down so that the next time that neat piece of negative self-talk comes up, you can revisit that statement, and it's sort of a shortcut to get you through to to being in a better place. The bottom line here is that when the rug is pulled out from underneath you unexpectedly, outside of your control, it can be heartbreaking. And for most people, it really is heartbreaking. And so step 1, acknowledge the loss, acknowledge the feelings. Step 2 is seek connection. And then 3 is rewrite any negative self-talk so that you can get back to a place of empowerment. Simple, not easy, but with practice, it's going to get better and better and easier. I promise you, because I have done this so many times myself. Okay, that's it for today. I'm so glad that you joined me. If you want to take a deeper dive into rewriting your narrative, head over to Substack, Moonshot Mentor, and I've got journal prompts for my paid subscribers to help you really understand how to rewrite your narrative. I also offer up to my paid subscribers co-working sessions twice a month. It's a really awesome experience. And you can visit me at moonshotmentor.com, where there are links to all of my socials and how to work with me. A very big thank you to Lynn Chen for the video editing. You can find her on social at Ms. Lynn Chen. Thank you so much for being here with me today, and I look forward to seeing you next week.